I know it's been a while since my last review of any kind of video game whatsoever. I think my last one was Injustice 2. I don't remember which character, but I do know it's time to start looking into giving my perspective on a new game which I actually just got last month, and it also came out the same month, World War Z. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what World War Z is, it's actually it started out as a novel written by Max Brooks during, 2006, and eventually, was it 6 years after, they got a movie out of it with Brad Pitt. I didn't see the movie, but I definitely listened to the audiobook of the story arc. Max Brooks is the narrator and interviewer, and what is it? There's some actors in it that I'm well aware of, like Jerry Ryan, Mark Hamill, F. Murray Abraham, and even Simon Pegg joins the cast. So for the initial gameplay of this, you get 4 survivors for each episode. As you can see, they're labeled as Episode 1, New York City, Episode 2, Jerusalem, Episode 3, Moscow, and Episode 4, Tokyo. Each mission, with the exception of Tokyo, has at least 3 missions max, okay? Now, the first 3 do have 3 missions for each part, and they're divided into chapters. Episode 4, however, is divided into 2 chapters. But today we're going to be looking into the first chapter of New York City. Okay, so now the first chapter is Descent. Now we're gonna play as Arnetta, why not? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna just begin. Now I'm playing in the class of Medic. You can also play as Gunslinger or whatever you want to play as. Now, for the the cutscenes, I'll definitely keep my mouth shut because I want you guys to watch them and enjoy them. So yeah, in this game you get a variety of different weapons you can upgrade throughout the game. Now, if you saw on the top right where my namer tag is, you'll see that there's like a 476 there. Those are the points that you earn each time you play a mission.
Not going into the subway. You've heard the stories.
We will starve here. The subway is our only chance. We take it to India, get to an evac center, and get the fuck out of New York. Or we die here.
I don't like him, but he's right.
Okay, so you start out in New York City. Now I'm playing as Arnetta. Now, each character in this game, if you've played a character at least once in the game, you'll learn full well their backstory and stuff like that. Arnetta's story, on the other hand, is that she's a wife as well as a city engineer.
We're going for it. Turn the subway to Inwood. Over.
So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm going in, taking my time, taking out these zombies. The only reason why is because A, I want to express my opinion on it. Now the game plays like The Last of Us mixed in with Left 4 Dead. I've played both Left 4 Dead games. I know how they play. The only difference between Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 is the fact that you've got at least 2 sets of characters. This game has about 4 sets of different characters that you can play as. As you can see though too, my submachine gun is packing a suppressor on it, so that way zombies can't hear me. My pistol has a suppressor on it too, but it, you know, I mean, what are they going to do if they hear me? I mean, they can hear me, but that's only if I'm in close proximity. Also, headshots are good. But in terms of like gameplay, like fighting and killing them, you could just flat out kill them by like you would a normal human, which I find ridiculous because zombies have a brain which is infected with a virus that can only be destroyed one way, destroying the brain obviously, or removing the head from the body. I mean, I guess they just wanted to make it an easier target rather than that. Although I don't know if whether or not you could change the headshot to it only scoring headshots. I mean, you possibly can, but I don't know. I don't want to screw around with the mechanics on this game too much. One of the big things that I do like about this game, hands down, is the fact that every time you play a mission, regardless of how long or how many times you play, it's always going to be different outcomes. Now, in terms of what I mean by that is that, for example, the scout rifle right here and the crossbow right here will not be here the next time I play the mission. You know, the ammo stash will be there, as well as medical kits, but and even the refills. But sometimes even a refill isn't shown. Now, as you saw, the last zombie I just killed was known as a bull. They get the term bull because of the fact that they're feral, they're monstrous, they run at you, and if they come running after you, you better run. Now, there's certain instances where I've actually been able to avoid them and dodge them, but most of the time I really can't. As you can see, there's a horde of zombies coming down. I don't know if that's 5th Avenue or what. Now, also, aside from your primary 2 weapons, you can also obtain a melee combat weapon. Now, as you can see, I picked up a chainsaw. Now, like I said before, that's not always going to be there. Granted, it's going to be there sometimes when you go and get certain things, but aside from that, there's really nothing else you can do about obtaining different forms of firepower. As you can see, the horde's undisturbed down there, but if I begin shooting them and sniping them from a distance, the zombies are just gonna, and even if I shoot one of these fucking things, they're still just gonna come right up after me. Now, there's several hordes right here, several zombies right here. Now, you quickly scan them, you can definitely get a readout of if they are in fact living corpses. And that's another thing that the game likes to do. They like to have the zombies play possum. It's like, oh no, I ain't falling for that shit. You know? Playing zombie games for a while, you kind of learn to expect it. you know, regardless of whether or not they have it in the game. You know what it's like? It's like, yeah, it's like a possum, obviously. You know, they're just gonna keep on coming until they're dead. So, I'm gonna use my MP5 against this horde. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to shoot this and this to show you what I mean by this. Now, as you can see, the horde just came in. Now, as long as you've got several clips of ammunition, you should be fine. Like, if you got like an assault carbine, maybe even like, for example, if I got like my sporter carbines are good because you get some distance. One of the biggest cons about it is semi-automatic fire. Now, granted, semi-automatic fire is like the preferred method of killing a zombie. Only reason why is because you're not wasting too much ammo and you're using what you need. And all you gotta do is just go for a friggin' headshot. Now, for close quarters combat, you go for a shotgun. Right here, the combat shotgun, which is a Benelli M4 Super 90. Benelli M4 is actually one of the top 10 zombie killing guns. And I can definitely see why, considering it's a 12 gauge semi-automatic shotgun. Okay. Now, as you can see, the one I just killed with my sporter carbine is called a lurker. Now, the lurkers are a little bit different, way more different compared to the bulls. Lurkers are just, they'll come at you when you least expect it. Now, if you're expecting it and you actually see a lurker right by you, you could just flat out kill them. If you're quick enough, of course. And another thing too is I forgot to mention what goes with the game as well is that each time, like I said, with weapons, you're gonna always have different outcomes in terms of finding them and using them. The biggest thing that I want to tell you about is that every time you obtain different weapons, like I said, but also you obtain different defenses, like for example, like the auto turrets, as well as the high voltage wires and even the barbed wire. The barbed wire is good, it slows down like normal zombies, but in terms of special zombies, it's a little bit less. And as you can see to my left, the prepared defenses little logo there, you'll notice that I have already prepared my defenses for the inevitable confrontation with a massive swarm. Now, as soon as they start coming over, that's when I start blowing their brains out. Alright, so anyway, aside from that though, you also, now, I keep saying aside from that, but mostly because it's true. In terms of weapons, you can also get a melee combat weapon, which, of course, I'm using the Lobo right now. Lobos are good because it's half axe, half spade. It's almost kind of reminds me of like a World War I style weapon because of the fact that it was used by German troops, known as stormtroopers during the First World War. And as you can see, I'm using a chainsaw to slice them up through the damn gate, which I love doing. I think it's awesome. Now, if you're holding it up like that, you're just slicing them up and shit like that. I really love that. Okay, so Another thing I really found, I looked into about this game is that it almost acts like Left 4 Dead because of the fact that you're always starting out with your standard weapon. Probably with the exception, now it doesn't act like Left 4 Dead in terms of keeping the weapons each chapter. Each chapter you're always going to get the same weapon that you start out with. But regardless, I do enjoy finding weapons along the way and killing the zombies left and right. And of course, too, down the road during this mission, you'll also find yourself against hordes and hordes of zombies. Now, not hordes of zombies, just like a few stragglers. You know, here and there from the massive swarm that just came by. One of the big cons about this game is I kind of wish they went with characters from the book rather than characters that they created themselves. Now, granted, I know full well that in an apocalyptic scenario, there's going to be more than one survivor, okay? There's not going to just be one and done, you know? It's not like Zombieland where you only got like 4 or 5 survivors and shit like that. You know, the thing is though, it's just I kind of wish they had more characters from the book. That's all I'm saying, you know? Like Todd Wainio, some of the soldiers, at least some of the soldiers, you know? Because honestly, I would love to play as Todd Wainio in Yonkers. Because Yonkers is a big friggin' war against the hordes of zombies. I mean, they mentioned it in the initial audio.
Can you get us to Inwood?
Okay, so as you can see now, I'm wielding that 416, an HK 416, which is basically the M16's, I guess you could say, German cousin, because, well, it was made by H&K. Heckler and Koch, I believe it is. You can also shut doors to slow down enemy combatants. Now, if you got your weapons fully upgraded, you could definitely pierce the armor on a bow. But with very weak weapons, like starting weapons, my recommendation: do not aim for the bow head on, because it will not work, hands down. Believe me, I've tried it and it doesn't work like that. Now, in terms of firepower, now I've got the 416 heavily modified to fire maximum penetration, basically, and I know it's a 5.56, but it's capable of doing some serious damage, you know. Probably because it's armor piercing, maybe, I don't know. But aside from all the weapons in this, now, I did mention the fact that you can get a Lobo in this. You can also get a machete, which you actually do start out with, but you can also change it to a Lobo.
We gotta go.
The Lobo's good because, you know, it serves as like a close quarter combat weapon, which, you know, can crack a skull and shit like that. I kind of wish, now, aside from the Lobo, I kind of wish they had the SIR in this. Now, for those of you who do not know what the SIR is, it's what they call, SIR is the acronym for the Standard Infantry Rifle. Now, this rifle itself was a very good rifle, apparently, used by soldiers and stuff like that during the start of the New Army. Now, the New Army was created to take on the hordes and hordes of zombies from what happened, you know, like prior, like, for example, like Todd Wainio was a member of the New Army which fought hordes back, and it started a clean and sweep operation from LA all the way to New York City and beyond that. That's something I would love to have seen in this game. I mean, granted, I don't mind the rifles in this game right now, but I kind of wish they had the SIR in it, because, I mean, there's been a lot of... I've seen a lot of interpretations about the weapon on, like, DeviantArt and shit like that. But the thing is, I would love to have seen the actual interpretation of it, like, in video game, you know? If they had it in game, I would love it, you know? Because, honestly, I mean, it's the SIR rifle. How could you not? They said it's almost like a World War II gun in terms of, because of the fact that it's wearing, because it's made from, like, wood and stuff like that, as well as metal. Because composite materials were getting difficult to mass produce, considering all the dead that were about. You know, and I would love to see how they fire. You know, I would love to see if they had the effect for the 5.56 NATO Cherry Pie, the pyrotechnically initiated explosive round, which fires, and when upon impact it would shatter in the zombie's skull and cause brain to become fry its brain. Wouldn't need to worry about infected gray matter or wasteful bonfires. It would also have an 8-inch flip-out job, which would serve as its primary bayonet. They also call the round the Cherry Pie because of the fact that it fires, if the bullet's composition wasn't, the chemical composition of the bullets weren't made right, it would burn so bright that upon entry into the zombie's skull, it would cause the eyes to glow red while it fried the brain. Now that's something I would love to see in this game. But you know what they did instead of putting it in the game? They didn't do that. They put friggin' gold-plated weapons in it. Gold-plated Lobo, a gold-plated SMG, even a gold-plated AK. Now granted, I don't mind that, but if you're gonna make a game based off of World War Z, you cannot go without the standard infantry rifle and have just the Lobo in it, because it's just not going to work like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would love to play with the SIR. I would love to fight maybe in a BDU, like the SWAT team coverall made from Kevlar and shit like that. That's something I would love to do. Instead, I mean, we're given weapons that are made of composite materials, not even World War II based weapons, like they look like they're from World War II. But, you know, aside from that though, I do like the 416, I do like the AK, I do like all the other rifles in this game, as well as the heavy weapons, but for the most part, I would love to see a DLC at least of more missions. That's one thing. Another thing would be the SIR, hands down. So yeah, I mean, granted, they have like gold-plated weapons and stuff like that. Now, I don't mind that, but if they had the SIR in this, it would have been a lot better. Because honestly, I mean, I myself have made two interpretations at least of the rifle. You know, the 8-inch spike that served as its bayonet. You know, I made also, what is it? I made two variations. The newest one actually looks more like what it's described as. It almost looks like it's a hybrid of the AR-15 and the AK-47, which I think you could get is, I think is pretty close to what you have. I mean, I don't know whether or not if it's like a standard like magazine weld or bullpup, but you know, I mean, it's open to interpretation. But I really would prefer seeing an actual look of the weapon, you know. But aside from that, though, do I like the game? Yeah. Is it perfect? No. Can it be improved? Yeah. You know, if the people who make this game, look into bringing in DLCs, if they listen to this video, if they want to listen to this video, I'm going to tell them right out, I want the Sir, because you can't have the Sir without you can't have the Lobo without the Sir. And you cannot, and you need to have more missions, more episodes. But until next time, this has been Cave Fears. I hope you enjoyed my broadcast. I initially tried doing a broadcast, which only took me about almost 50 minutes until the game crashed on me. But then again, it's a brand new game. What do you expect? I mean, there's going to be glitches sooner or later. But until next time, this is Cave Fears, and till next time, peace out.